may be weird. It may feel weird, but I'm telling you, once you do it, it's going to unlock the door that is yourself. Welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Alive. The purpose of these AA meetings is to get you aligned and alive in God's purpose for your life. So get out your notebooks. Class is in session. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Alive. For today's episode, our mission is going to be become self-aware. It's just the key to success in relationships, okay? And for our Bible scripture that is going to keep us rooted in the word is coming out of the book of wisdom, okay? Of course. Proverbs 10, verse 17, it says, "The one who follows instructions is on the path to life, but the one who rejects correction goes astray." And self-awareness is very, 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 very important to relationships and communication and being able to hear clearly, not only ourselves, but also from God. But before I get into the episode, I just, I've been feeling so full of love and just so free and going deeper in my own self awareness, and learning myself again in this new phase of my, not phase, but this new, in this new growth of my life that has come with my relationship with God and understanding His will for me, and you know, trying to be aligned always and seeking to help others become aligned, and just it's just been such a beautiful process, such a beautiful process of um being able to recognize my own flaws and ways in which I fall short of being the best version of myself. So, today I have 3 strategies for becoming more self-aware. 3 key strategies in becoming self-aware and having success in your relationships with yourself, with others, with God. So, my first strategy is going to be spend time in silence. In silence, it's so powerful because silence speaks volumes. It's not a saying for no reason. None of the sayings, the cliches, they're not sayings for no reason. They're not popularized for no reason. Like there's there's weight and there's wisdom in those sayings that we hear all the time, but silence speaks volumes. So spend time in silence. Sometimes we go through so much in life and we're surrounded by so much going on around us. There's so much chaos sometimes, and there's so much noise sometimes from things outside of our control. And sometimes we can confuse that noise with the chatter that already exists within us and the intrusive thoughts, and understanding where is it coming from and what is God saying to me? How do I know He's speaking to me? Why do I feel this way about myself? Where are these thoughts coming from? Spending time in silence will help you develop self awareness in a way that allows you to see yourself objectively, and it allows you to come out of your bubble and to actually hear your thoughts versus the thoughts of the world and the thoughts that God thinks towards you, and the intrusive thoughts that come from sometimes our own lack of faithfulness or our own trauma, or sometimes through however the adversary or the enemy shows up in your life. So it's so important to spend time in silence to tune it all out. And that looks like, sometimes it's cutting off the music, or, turning off the shows, or taking a step back from social media and YouTube, And I say this from a place of I always try to tell y'all this. These are things that I've done. These strategies that I'm giving you are things that have helped me to develop my self-awareness. But I'm giving them to you in love and understanding that, life happens, and I get it. I absolutely get it. But if you're watching this video, it's because you want to know how to become more self-aware. So spend time in silence. And this is going to help you to hear God clearly and to sift through all of the noise that comes from outside of ourselves. And then to organize the thoughts that are our own, or that are not ours, or that we perceive as good or bad, and figure out what to do with it, to figure out what it means, and to figure out what God is trying to tell us, to figure out what our next move should be, to just become more self-aware of our own conscious, of our own existence, and how it may or may not align with how we've been living our lives. So spend time in silence. Take some time to just listen. We do so much talking. I know me. I do a lot of talking. I love to talk. I love to talk. Okay. I love to talk. Love it. But recently I've been finding so much peace in just the silence. Just the silence whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed by everything going on around me. Sometimes the silence is good. Sometimes the silence is good. Other times it's like, okay, I want to hear something. Like I want to hear something. And that's something you have to kind of be aware of, as well as like having these itching ears. And it talks about that in the Bible, but I'm not going to get into that. But sometimes we do have these itching ears where we just constantly need to hear something from somebody. Um, or just to hear noise. Sometimes we develop this need in how we tune out our own issues through needing to fill up our ears with sounds instead of actually spending time in silence to get an understanding of yourself and the thoughts that you have, and why is it causing so much friction in your life, where's the disassociation at. So yes, spend time in silence. I don't know, for some of y'all it may be hard to just sit in silence. Maybe weird, it may feel weird, but I'm telling you, once you do it, it's going to unlock the door that is yourself. Okay, it's going to unlock the door to self-awareness and understanding, like, oh, why do I feel like this? Why am I thinking these thoughts? Like, it's going to help you answer a lot of unanswered questions that you may have. Also, with spending time in silence and developing a self-awareness, you start to come into an understanding of how your body is reacting to the world around you, which is so, 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 so important, because understanding that our body has an internal warning system for when we're feeling triggered to do certain things that we may not want to do anymore, and it can really open you up to how to combat that. But it takes spending time in silence, spending time with God. And not only, when I say spending time in silence with God, I mean we do so much talking and prayer, we don't never let him answer. We don't never sit in silence enough for him to answer the prayer. So spend some time in silence, okay? Spend some time in silence. So, our second strategy is going to be journaling. Journaling, I love journaling because I love to talk, I love to write, I love to read, I love words, I love language. But journaling has been so transformative in my life. It's just been very transformative. And I think a lot of people are starting to understand the power of journaling. Once you get over this idea of like that it's meaningless, or it's a waste of time, you start to realize sometimes that we talk in circles. And that's a part of self-awareness, understanding the cycles that you're repeating. And journaling just helps you get it all out on the page. Like just let your consciousness spill out on the page. Everything. And sometimes you'll be writing, at least for me, sometimes I'll be writing and I'm just like, none of this makes sense. I don't even know what my thoughts are saying. They're just all over the place right now. And sometimes when I get to that point where so it's just like, okay, let me take a step back and let me spend some time in silence and let me just listen and kind of get my thoughts settled so I can kind of understand what I'm understanding. Okay, this is getting deep. I'm so sorry, y'all. So sorry. I'm so sorry, but I'm not re-recording this. I'm not. Okay, I'm not re-recording. I'm not. So bear with me. Like I was saying, journaling. Very transformative. And I actually have something, very much something that can help you all with becoming more self-aware as it pertains to journaling. I'm working on some things. I don't want to officially announce it just yet because that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, you know, I'm feeling like, wait, that's crazy. Y'all bear with me, please. Like, humanity. I understand. I get it. Humanity. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, journaling, transformative. Um, and it just helps you to get all of those thoughts out. Again, like I said, looking at yourself objectively, and you'll start to recognize the patterns and the the disassociations between the things that you're thinking and the things that you're doing, and that self-awareness will help you come into alignment. And again, this pertains to like success in relationships as it pertains to intimate relationships, familial relationships, you know, associations, business, casual relationships, just interacting with our fellow human beings in general. That self-awareness is going to help you recognize how you may come across in the things that you believe, but the things that you do kind of not lining up, but and to also give yourself grace as you recognize these things. So journaling, journaling. That's top tier right there. That's top tier for self-awareness. If you ain't doing nothing, start journaling. If you ain't ready for the silence, start journaling. Just start writing. Just see what comes out on the page, and don't judge yourself. If you need to burn it, burn it. But journaling, it's gonna help you unpack a lot. Okay? It's gonna help you unpack a lot. It's gonna help you realize a lot. It is going to transform how you view yourself. And yeah. So, our third strategy for becoming more self-aware is going to be empathic listening. Now, you guys know I like a nice book. I like a book with a little business development and character development, leadership development. I like a book with some science in it, but it's rooted in some God. Okay. But this particular book I'm reading right now, it is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a classic, tried and true. I ain't afraid of no classic literature, okay? And I love it. And lately, the chapter I recently read when I was writing these notes. It was talking about empathic listening and how important it is in relationships, in effective relationships, as it pertains to leadership and being able to have win-win interactions with people. So, empathic listening, or it might be empathetic listening. I'm not sure because it leans on empathy, so it might be pronounced empathetic. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But it's not active listening and it's not reflective listening, okay? But you do need to know when it's important to change your listening strategy. But in terms of becoming more self-aware, I think it's very important to practice empathetic. I'm gonna just go with empathetic. It's important to practice empathetic listening because I think it just reveals, for at least for me at least, it definitely helped me to understand um my natural inclinations to always try to fix people or to always push God and Jesus, which is cool, but I feel like when it comes to empathetic listening, it is it's to the point of it is to help you understand other people more fully, and to help you empathize with people, and to help you not listen to respond, or to give them an answer, especially when it's unsolicited. I think that's very important when we're talking to people, not to give our unsolicited opinions unless they ask. And that's something I've been working on, because I'm very much God. And that's cool. I love that for me. But everybody is not on the same level of maturity spiritually, or just maturity in general. People go through their own traumas that affect how they react and reason. And they go through, it's a part of humanity. Like, we all are going through different things. So empathetic listening really helped me to see myself, because I started to recognize I have a natural tendency to always try and fix people, or for people to confide in me, and I'm always trying to give them advice and to tell them what to do and to prescribe them the prescription that was prescribed to me. And they might not be ready for that. You know, or the way in which I say it may not take root how I would want it to, may not land how I want it to, because I'm listening to respond versus to really understand and give them that space to see themselves. Giving them that space to see themselves. That's so good. Giving them that space to see themselves. And then maybe if they trust you enough, if they value your opinion enough, and they see themselves and they see you, and they know who you are, they know who you are, and you know who you are, and you know how you move, you know what you standing on. They may then in turn seek advice from you. But I feel like in those moments, it's so important to just practice empathetic listening. Like I said, it'll help you with your own self-awareness, and as you take inventory of those initial reactions, like those knee-jerk reactions to do certain things, once you start to stop yourself and say, let me just listen and try to understand this person, um, and where they're coming from. It's a part of understanding humanity. Before I hop back into this episode, go ahead and click the link in our description. Check out the merch, check out the blog post, sign up with your email, and be the first to know whenever I am doing something new. And that's going to lead me into my next topic, which is our research segment. And in my own personal life, I've realized, like I said, my own natural tendency to try and fix people, instead of just giving them the space to be who they are and to experience life how they experience it, and allow them the space to navigate it on their own, while also being an example of light and of love that they can lean on and that they can seek, given the opportunity, like if they want it. So it's helped me to become more self-aware, listening to others, practicing humility, um, and thinking of myself less and thinking of others more. All of that has helped me to develop more this deep self-awareness, and I'm always self-reflecting. God is constantly working on me, and um yeah, I've just been going through the motions of realizing where I fall short and how I communicate my message, like in my zeal for everything that's going on in my life and how God has transformed my life. Like I want to impart that on others. Like I want to charge others with that. Um, this idea of transforming their lives and getting aligned and alive with God's purpose. And it just had me feeling like maybe I had been not, and this could just be me personally. I don't necessarily know how people are perceiving it really, outside of the few people that I talk to, which don't really give me their opinion on my podcast. But I started to feel like I just don't, the last thing I want is for anybody to feel judged or condemned, or by where I'm at in my relationship with God. And it kind of like melted into my relationships, like off camera. And I started to see myself and how I'm always kind of, like I said, wanting to fix people and point them to Jesus and give them unsolicited advice. And it's not until I took a step back and I spent time with my family and I decided to not take anything personally, to not respond in a way that I feel like I need to save them, but to just empathetically listen and understand that life be lifing. Life be lifing. Life be lifing. For real. And I know it's kind of sad sometimes when we have to look at our other people's pain to give ourselves our own, like, a reality check. Like, I'm tripping about all this stuff that I'm going through, but there's literally genocide and homelessness and child trafficking. There's just so much going on in the world. And for me to not have more um humanity in understanding others was just like, let me just get him some room, because I get it. I get it. I get it. It's tough. It's tough. So, like the war on Israel, I feel like I haven't talked about that. Just because there's just so much going on in the world, so much going on in the world. It's so much going on in the world. There's a war in America on homelessness. Have you went outside? Have you went downtown? If you live in Atlanta, have you been downtown? Have you seen what's happening here? And this is something that's going on in a lot of states. But understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. Like, you're not the only one that matters. You're not the only one having this human experience. Like, there's people who unfortunately are, suffering worse than you, whatever you may be going through or not going through. It's just important to have that self-awareness in how we communicate and relate to other people, and understanding, like, for everybody, it's not all glitz and glamour. And that's okay. That's okay. It's life. It's life. And I want to choose to love you through it. Whether you want my advice or you don't want my advice, I want to choose to love you through it. I want to choose to be there for you. So, y'all's homework this week, and it's something that I've been doing. I've been doing it and it's blessed me so much. I've been feeling, like I said in the beginning of this video, I've been feeling so full of love. Just the love, the love, the love of, like, clarity and understanding, clarity and self-awareness. My life, I just been feeling just so much love and freeness. And one thing I've been doing, apart from the 3 strategies I gave y'all to become more self-aware, this particular thing is rooted more in empathetic listening. And it is just just making it a point to call the people I love, to call at least one person that I love, whenever I can. Y'all's homework this week is to, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like you just have a lot on your plate, I want you to reach out to somebody that you love and just check on them. Just check on them, not to dump, not to give them your negative energy, not to play with their emotions or and play on their time, but just to genuinely, if this is somebody you love, to just genuinely check in on them, see how life is going for them, see what they're up to. Congratulate them, give them their flowers if things are going well. And if things are not going well, practice empathetic listening and just listening to understand, not to respond, not to give them advice, but just to be there so that they feel heard and they feel seen. So I pray that this video brought you all one step closer to being aligned and alive in God's purpose for your life. And I will see you all next week. Bye.